NEC meeting. Let's now cross live to our reporter Mzwandile Mbeje, who is in Irene in Pretoria. Mzwai, good to chat to you once again. What is the latest from the NEC Lekgotla at this hour? We understand, Mzwai, that President Jacob Zuma arrived there earlier on. Did he manage to speak to you as the media?
Thank you very much, Obriel. The President of the Republic is inside at the NEC Lekgotla together with the President of the ANC. They are part of the discussions around what the government should do. You'd remember that the NEC Lekgotla is held just before the Cabinet Lekgotla so that they could form a concrete program for the state of the nation. So we have just heard that currently they are busy with presentations on various topics flowing from what happened in East London, the January 8 statement. They are consolidating those messages because they need to inform what will happen. So this is the opportunity for the ruling party to draft the program that will take the country forward, particularly this year. Yes, the president arrived at 11. As you know, we are standing outside of St. George's, so no opportunity to speak to anyone. And of course, it's not easy to get inside here because no one is allowed. That's why every time when we cross to you from outside. And whatever we are able to get, if we are lucky enough to perhaps to stop people in the cars coming out or going in. So that's what is happening now, and we understand that the commissions will only take place tomorrow, because remember, the NEC Lekgotla will happen over 2 days, and the NEC itself happened over 2 days. So all in all, this will take 4 days. So as they consolidate these reports, these presentations, these discussions, so they also form themselves into various groups so that when that statement is put together, it's clear, it's concise, it's able to give the direction of what needs to happen, Obriel.
Now, Mzwai, I'm sure you will agree with me that the elephant in the room at Irene is the discussions around the possible recall of President Jacob Zuma. Now, there are reports that President Zuma himself has made several demands before he steps aside, including the guarantees for payment for his impending court cases. Is there any such talk, Mzwai, in the corridors of the NEC meeting?
What is happening currently, Obriel, is that issue of the possible recall of the president was discussed last night by the NEC. And the NEC delegated the top 6 to pursue that issue with the head of state. So those kinds of conditions at this stage, I'm not sure where they come from, because that kind of a meeting hasn't happened. And you'd remember they want to manage this thing as carefully as possible. And to make sure really that there isn't the kind of fallout that perhaps will put back the kind of the unity project that they've decided to embark upon. So we will know as the days continue, Obriel, what exactly is the nature of the discussions between the head of state and those tasked with speaking to him, because it is clear that the NEC has taken a decision that he must be engaged so that he will have a dignified exit. But as to the nature of the talks at this stage and who wants what, so it's pretty not clear at this stage.
Mm-hmm. Now, Mzwai, have the teams now been put in place? I'm talking of the teams that will oversee the fresh elections in the KwaZulu-Natal and Free State PECs. So
what has happened is that they have agreed on interim structures that will oversee those processes. You'd remember that the PEC of Free State and of KZN were disbanded. That follows the court that nullified them ahead of the December conference. So it looks like from KZN, for example, the convener may be Sihle Zikalala, and then the coordinator may be Mike Mabuyakhulu. So if you look at these two people, you can see that they are trying to forge the issue of unity, because Mabuyakhulu would have been part of the CR17 camp, and then Sihle was a prominent voice in the NTZ campaign. So those are the kinds of issues they are looking at the moment. So yes, the details are not out yet. I'm sure they're still working out some of them, but the interim structures in those provinces will take over, O'Brien.
And the ruling parties, the NEC also announced this morning it's the new members of the National Working Committee. Now, when you look at the composition of that NWC, what does it tell you, Mzwai, about the current power dynamics in the ANC?
When one looks closely at the new members of the NWC, and of course we should remind our viewers that NWC is that committee that is responsible for the day-to-day running of the ANC. So it's a 20-member team, obviously, plus the 6 from the 6, that is the top 6. So those are the people who are responsible for running the day-to-day operations of the ANC. So if you look at closely at that list, you can see that the project of unity and renewal and trying to merge these leads which were prevailing before the conference, it's still ongoing. Because when I counted, you could see that the balance is more or less the same, though you'll probably give it to the CR17 camp, if I were to use that language, in terms of those who would have backed him before the conference. But there's members really from both sides. But as I'm saying, so the edge would probably be with those who had originally supported Cyril Ramaphosa. But of course, you have someone like Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, who was on top together with Lindiwe Sisulu. So you can see that here are people who were on different camps, but they were tied in terms of numbers. And then you have people like Nomvula Mongonyane, who were very prominent in the NTZ camp. And then you have people like Naledi Pando, who are known to be on the CR camp. So basically what has happened is that the unity project that the ANC is trying to push, it is gaining ground, but of course it does seem that those who have backed Cyril have an upper hand.
And finally, before we let you go, Mzwai, I'm sure you are aware of the impending shakeup at the power utility Eskom, and we are indeed reporting this hour that the board chair of Eskom has tendered in his resignation, and that the ANC president wants a new board by the time he leaves for the World Economic Forum in Davos in Switzerland. Now, is this an issue that is being talked about by some of the delegates you are talking to at the NEC meeting?
I wouldn't say right now if they are discussing it at the moment, but it's the issue that was discussed as recent as yesterday. President Ramaphosa did meet President Zuma together with Minister Gigaba to talk about this issue. So you can see this is the issue really that occupies the minds of the leadership here. So we understand that we just need to verify it. We understand that the president of the ANC and the deputy president of the country could make perhaps some announcement in this regard, because earlier Minister Gigaba had sounded an alarm really to say if the issue of Eskom is not addressed by the time they come back from Davos, they may find that we have no country, we have no currency. So basically what that meant was that the situation is so grave that it needed urgent attention from the highest levels. I think that's the reason, April, you see all these movements. Former Minister Nhlanhla being touted to chair the board, and of course bringing in someone like Jacob Zuma, who's the chairperson at Telkom, and you know he turned around that parastatal. So he's got those people actually have got great credentials in terms of turning around some of the institutions like those. And yes, this is the issue that has been of concern to anyone. And earlier we saw the DG of Treasury entering here. I'm sure he would be able to engage with his colleagues and with his principals to see what exactly they need to do, because it will be pointless for them to leave for Davos and they come back and things are not right. And remember, April, tomorrow evening we expect the Deputy President to travel to Davos to the World Economic Forum. And the very same tomorrow, if things remain as they are, we expect President Jacob Zuma to travel to Liberia. Can you imagine a situation where the two leaders of our country are outside the country and the country basically goes completely bankrupt? That would be very irresponsible. I'm sure when they want, by the time they decide to leave this country, they would have been assured that everything is in place and everything is being set in the right direction. So yes, this is the issue that is being attended to, O'Brien.
All right, thank you so much there for your insights. That there is our reporter Mzwandile Mbeje speaking to us live from the NEC Lekgotla in Irene outside Pretoria.